Yo, what's going on, guys? And today, I'm right now in between classes. It's the first day of the semester, junior year of college. So, look, guys, we're right here talking today about what to expect from the Atlanta Hawks this season. And I'm expecting another Eastern Conference Finals, okay? I almost said Western Conference Finals. This is because I'm extremely tired. I woke up at like 8 in the morning and I went to sleep at like 2. I went to a party. Don't even ignore me. Let me hear those beautiful comments down below, guys. What do you guys think of the Atlanta Hawks? What do you think their record's going to be? I believe Trae Young will have an MVP season this year. I made a video recently that I said that Trae Young potentially could go back to being close to a 30-point scorer. And, some people brought up some comments that they're right. I think Daniel Gallinari and maybe Bogdan Bogdanovic might not have as high scoring numbers as they did last year, with Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, and Deandre Hunter all taking jumps. Deandre Hunter was in the midst of a breakout year last year, and then he got hurt. And he was a guy who was averaging like 18 points a game before his injury. And his average got brought down because he took a little bit of time to shake off the rust when he came back. And Cam Reddish is another guy who seems like he could be a 15-point scorer. Same thing with Kevin Huerter. That both of those guys, I think, will be taking the shots that would have been lost from that Bogdan and Gallinari will lose. That would have made Trae Young a 30-point scorer. I mean, Trae Young is probably going to score the same thing, but probably be a double-double guy where he's going to be probably averaging like 10 assists. I still think that this is going to be the year where I think Trae Young is going to put it together and be an MVP candidate. And right now, if we look at the basketball.realgm.com, has their depth chart being Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Deandre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella as the starting lineup. I see it's Trae Young, Bogdanovic, and DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella as the starting lineup, with DeLon Wright and Lou Wills splitting the backup point guard role. And then, obviously, our man Kevin Huerter is the backup shooting guard. Cam Reddish is the backup small forward, with Solomon Hill and AJ Lawson there, and probably a little bit of Jalen Johnson there too. And Gallinari and Jalen Johnson backing up John Collins, and then probably a little Onyeka Okongwu there too. And then at the center position, Clint Capella being backed up by Gorgie Dang and Onyeka Okongwu. Okongwu might miss the beginning of the year due to the injury. And if we just want to look at if you look at the roster as a whole, I think it's a good team. It's a good team. I like it. Okay, they're right now they have 16 players on the roster and one player on a two-way. So I expect at least AJ Lawson to be added to the two-way, and maybe Johnny Hamilton as well. I was hoping they'd bring back Skylar Mays, but I don't know if he balled out, but I don't know if they're going to bring back Skylar Mays. Either way, I expect John Collins to have a similar year to last year, maybe to average similar numbers in the playoffs, to be like what we saw in the playoffs, to be the player that he's probably going to more like be, that great. Mouth was getting dry, guys. I got to stay hydrated. And look, I think John Collins is going to continue being that guy that we saw in the playoffs, where he was just dominant, and he looked like every penny he got paid. All right, in the playoffs. And that was a guy who he went from averaging 17.5 points per game during the regular season, and during the playoffs he only averaged 14. And I know his numbers kind of look at a glance down, like, yeah, he only averaged 14 points and he had less blocks and steals per game and less assists, but he had more rebounds. I don't know, I just felt like John Collins was just playing so efficient, and he was doing good things. Like, there were some bad games in the playoffs, but then there were some games where John Collins had some good moments where I was just like, damn. Like, in the game, game 5, he had a decent game against the Bucks. And I don't know, there were some games where you're just looking like he is one of the better shooting fours. He can rebound. He's a hyper athlete. He's just a guy who can do a little bit of everything. I think Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter will both take a jump. I think Cam Reddish will be able to become that multi-positional defender that we wanted with DeAndre Hunter, where Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter can literally guard 1 through 4s. And then they both could be 2s and 3s. The future could be Trae Young, Reddish, and Hunter, and then you put a power forward in Onyeka Okongwu. Really, I would love the idea of, because they drafted Jalen Johnson. You put Jalen Johnson at the power forward position. Then you have Onyeka Okongwu at the center position. That's the future. Trae Young, Cam Reddish, Deandre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, backed up by Sharif Cooper, Kevin Herter, and then you'd fill up, I guess, the roster with, AJ Lawson would be the backup small forward. And, yeah, you just figure out power forward center. I'm, so tired, and it's, not even, imaginable, how tired I am. I'm just exhausted. Somebody's texting me. No, it's Snapchat. I hate when that stuff just vibrates, and you're just who's hitting me up? But, no, look. I love Gorgie Dang because he's stretch 5, and he can protect the rim, and he can actually play some power forward. Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper. Sharif Cooper actually could get some minutes if he shows in the G League his three-point shot is actually falling terrible, because Sharif Cooper isn't a great defender. So he would have to replace Lou Will if he was going to come into the lineup. Jalen Johnson, you just have to show that he can shoot, and he hasn't yet, so he could bounce back and forth between the G League if needed. But yeah, I think this is a team with a full offseason with Nate McMillan and with our man, Nate McMillan, with everyone being brought back and having a full offseason, I think really, and everyone getting healthy because this team wasn't healthy. I think this team's a top 3 seed in the East, maybe potentially a top 3 record in the entire NBA. I think they're going to probably be one of the most dangerous teams in the entire NBA. Yeah, I think they're just going to be a menace to mess with, and people need to be ready. I don't even think it's going to be fair. That's just not going to be fair at all. So I want to hear those thoughts. I am exhausted. I don't think I could ever explain, or you could fathom how exhausted I am. These lights that are in my face, in my eye right now, are just hurting me so bad. But comment, do all that good stuff. We're gonna milk this to 8 minutes because, look, guys, if you guys want to be a YouTuber, that's what you gotta do. You gotta get 8 minutes. So I have to keep going to class, and it's the first week, so the first day, actually, it's first day. So there's no homework, and we're just talking. And I'm I mention my YouTube channels a lot of time because I'm sports journalism. So goodbye, guys.